in agreement with it which you worship. Are not all Christians in agreement that the Lord Jesus is correct in this truth? Strong's Concordance defines the word worship in this way. Worship can be done by simple agreement, however, it can also be done by an open act. In Daniel 3 we see that as fact when Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego refused to bow before the statue King Nebuchadnezzar set up before the people. The entire nation bowed, of course, but those 3 students of Daniel bluntly refused. Were they fanatics as some would call them today? Or was God about to define that act as an open act of worship regardless of what the person felt in his heart? For example, do you honestly believe all those people worshiped that idol the king set up that day merely because he asked them to? Could it be the majority of them were bowing out of fear and not worship? Truth is, the king stated plainly in Daniel 3:6 that, "Whoso falleth not down and worshipeth shall the same hour be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace." Common sense affords us the reality that it was fear that caused them to bow. Yet, Daniel's 3 students still refused. Could it be just a simple act of worship is enough to commit the sin? Indeed it is. For this is confirmed when Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were thrown into that furnace of fire. It was so hot that the men that threw them were engulfed in flames and killed by doing so. However, Jesus Christ himself appeared in the flames to prevent harm to those 3 young men. This confirmed the Lord was pleased with their refusal to merely bow. He rewarded their refusal to break commandment number 2 with an open sign that no thinking person could deny. It was so graphic in fact that King Nebuchadnezzar himself was moved to believe. When he saw those 3 young men walking in the flame without any ill effects, and at the same time looking upon his own muscle-bound guards lying dead at the entrance of that furnace, he knew something amazing happened that day. He realized that merely bowing before that statue he set up was sin. Did you notice, even the king agreed that bowing before his golden statue was an act of worship. He said with his own mouth that God had sent his angel to protect those 3 young men, that they might not serve, nor worship any god, except their own God. So, how does Roman Catholicism fulfill this prophecy? Are Catholics taught to worship the Pope? Is the entire world taught to do this as well? In John chapter 17 we read this. Jesus is in the garden praying just before Judas arrives with the mob to take him away to be crucified. In this prayer, Jesus actually calls his Father in heaven Holy Father. Every Catholic on earth, every priest, every cardinal, every bishop, and every nun is taught to call the Pope Holy Father. Even the media calls him this blasphemous name. Every newspaper, magazine, TV news anchorman, and radio announcer uses that title for the Pope. Plus, every dignitary, president, or head of state must kiss the hand of the Pope either in private, or before the cameras to make a statement. We have all seen the many pictures of people kissing the Pope's ring. From the common man, to mainstream political entities, they must all kiss this man's hand. This is an open act of worship the Pope is receiving with complete agreement. Often the Pope won't even raise his hand for the person to kiss it. They literally have to bow before him, to kiss his hand dangling at his side. In the past, they once had to kiss the Pope's feet, as seen in this sketching. Truth is, many Catholics to this day are taught this is an acceptable act of worship towards the Pope. In St. Peter's Basilica is a statue that is called Peter. Truth is, the statue was originally called Jupiter, but when the Vatican mixed paganism with Christianity, they renamed a lot of the pagan gods, giving them Christian names. Notice the foot of this statue. It is extended out so as to make it easier for the passers-by to bow before so as to kiss it. Notice also that foot is worn down so smooth that even the features of the toes are all but completely erased. This is a bronze statue. Can you imagine how many millions and millions of kisses it would take from the soft lips of Catholics the world over to wear the medal away from this statue? This is amazing. Please, pray for these devout people. They have such a misdirected zeal. If they would direct their worship towards the true God of all creation, imagine how wonderful that would be. The other definition of worship will be to lie prostrate before a statue, or a person. Does the Pope even accept this type of extreme reverence? Please take a look at the group of priests that are seeking the Pope's approval to be ordained as Roman Catholic priests. It's amazing to me that the Vatican would allow such pictures to be made public. One of the pictures is a recent picture of Pope John Paul accepting worship from what appears to be at least 80 young priests to be. This prophecy is most assuredly fulfilled by the popes of Rome. Nowhere on earth do you see such a man as this that is not only accepted, but is openly worshipped before the eyes of the universe.